My faculty has a ghost. The building was built in 1407 and throughout history was many things. In its early years was located in this place a convent of Dominican friars under the patronage of St. Peter Martyr. Little by little, the congregation became the organ in charge of the trial of the causes, that is to say, the Spanish Inquisition. History affirms that in this convent, the inquisitors tortured and executed heretics and those accused of insults against the faith. During this period, the peak of the convent's existence, more than 60 friars, many of them famous members of the Holy Office, lived within its walls. After the dissolution of the Inquisition, the building passed from one hand to another and was used for multiple purposes: military barracks, Provincial Monuments Commission. On May 27, 1993, after a thorough remodeling, the building was inaugurated as the headquarters of the government, delegation and the state administration. But during the inaugural ceremony, the Ministry of the Interior was asked to cede the building for educational use, a purpose it still fulfills today, since the cloister was occupied by hundreds of professors, students, and employees of the university. Multiple rumors affirm that within those ancient walls some things happen that lack logical explanation. The testimonies come from students, janitors, security employees, university staff, or simple visitors. One of the most repeated experiences refers to the vision of a blurred figure, which some describe as a faint white smoke, which is usually seen in some places of the old convent, mainly in some areas such as the cloister, the library, the church, or the upper stalls. Witnesses state that this white smoke moves as if it were floating, and quite quickly, so that it is never seen for a period of more than 3 or 4 seconds. Some witnesses even claim to have seen this phenomenon more clearly, being able to distinguish a female figure dressed in a kind of white habit, as if it were a nun. This version is quite widespread among the cleaning staff, who even, perhaps to overcome the fear that could cause, refer to this figure as Incarna. And the fact is that, with all the naturalness in the world, when the cleaners go into any of the rooms where this vision usually appears, they do it with the warning Incarna, "Don't scare me, I'm coming in," and they say goodbye in the same way they entered. This is very curious, since in the history of San Pedro Martyr the presence of any woman does not stand out, since it always lodged religious of the masculine sex. Even so, almost all the burials there are of Dominican religious, with the exception of 2 burials of women brought here. During its use as a provincial pantheon, the nun's ghost is said to manifest itself in various ways, from apparitions to moving elevators in the middle of the night or disorganizing classroom furniture after the cleaners have finished their work in the classrooms. This is why many of the university's night employees, cleaning staff and security guards have resigned since the opening of the college. Professors rarely mention the subject, but students who graduated in the first graduating classes have no problem explaining their experiences. Most agree that Incarna's appearances occurred when during exam periods, the faculty opened its doors so that students could study at night, the so-called night library. In the past, the library was not left open, but some classrooms in the main courtyard were made available for students to study there. That is why, when the students went to the bathroom or to the vending machine to get a coffee, it was common for them to go in groups, due to the generalized fear that the whole issue of the nun had caused. Normally, it was the students who wandered alone in the courtyard, or the corridors who suffered the apparitions of Incarna. As a result of the uproar caused by the rumors, the school administration decided to finally enable the faculty library for night study sessions, closing the courtyard of San Pedro. In my case, I have never experienced any of these apparitions, but what I can say is that the vibe given by some corners of the faculty makes my hair stand on end. There are bodies buried and walled up in classrooms, hallways and courtyards, so the spiritual charge of the place is quite high. In fact, when I joined a faculty club as a freshman, we would try to leave the building before the sun went down, because some of my classmates experienced unexplained events and were very afraid. During the 2000s, I don't have the exact date, a national television program famous for its paranormal investigations made a very short but very complete report on this subject, with testimonies and other experiences that I haven't told you about.